everybody.
To your mouth. To your mouth.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege and honor for me to speak in front of such a distinguished audience. But my speaking time is limited to 180 seconds. So I shall try to be clear and concise. I'm sure you all have an idea who Rabindranath Tagore was from the leaflet in circulation. A prolific writer, composer, painter, educationist, deep thinker, humanist, Rabindranath Tagore was one of the most great creative and exceptionally versatile artists ever stemmed from the 20th century India. He also, in addition to his global prominence, was the first Nobel laureate from the Asian subcontinent. One of the eminent Tagore scholars wrote, I quote, "Tagore's life remains relevant to our own times. For instance, his strong emphasis of women's liberation in our society, his environmentalism, his ideas about freeing education from its traditional rigors, his activism in political matters, and his dread of and warning against the rise of nationalism." Now, in the late 19th century, Tagore's mansion in Calcutta was a notable center of art and culture in Bengal. However, the picture inside the house was very different. The household, comprising a complex extended family of parents, uncles and aunts, brothers, sisters, in-laws, cousins, nephews, nieces, swarm of children, along with the employees of estate, servants and maids, was a huge establishment. Now, Tagore's mother, as the head of the inner house, was responsible for the orderly running of his huge household and barely had any time to look after children. The responsibility rested mainly on the shoulders of the servant. Servocracy was the term used by Tagore in his memoir. The servant in charge of young Tagore, to make his life easy, adopted a method of confining the child in a room with a window, drawing a chalk-marked circle on the floor around him, strictly forbidding him not to move out of the room, reminding him the story of abduction of Sita in Ramayana. This management was continued day in and day out. When the boy was first admitted to a school, he welcomed the occasion if this would be his freedom from servocracy. Soon, however, he was frustrated to find that detention in the classroom was as bad as, if not worse, than the confinement within the house. Gradually, he became a truant.
TagoreBrighton.
Developing an apathy for school, changing school one after another, and at one stage his elders gave up in despair. By the time he reached 17, his family became genuinely concerned about his career and decided to send him to England to get a professional qualification. So he came to England to obtain a degree of law. At that time, the family of one of his elder brothers was living here at Hope. On 20th of September 1878, the young Tagore left India for England and arrived Hope on 10th of October to join his brother's family at Medina Villa. This was his first journey abroad and the first time he saw his nephew and niece. Before coming to England, he lavishly imagined so many things about the life of Medina Village, such as it has a garden, tree, field, pond nearby, etc. But after arriving village, he was disappointed. He wrote, "I looked around and saw there were houses, streets, carriages, pubs on every corner, but bookshops are rare." His first encounter with England was playfully described in a letter written to his sister-in-law back home. I read one paragraph of Dr. William Redch's translation. One curious thing that I have noticed, people seem to think I am a complete ignoramus. They think that I have just come from India, that I don't know anything, that things therefore need to be shown and explained to me. One day, I went out to walk along the streets with Dr. M's brother and was quite infuriated by him. There were some photographs in the shop window. He supposed that I would be absolutely amazed at the sight of the photographs. That my eyes would pop up of my head. He took me over them and started to explain them laboriously. He told me that they are made by machine, not drawn by human hand. Quite a crowd gathered around us and I was very embarrassed. I told him clearly that I was aware of what he was. But did he believe me? Next, taking me to the watch shop, he tried to explain me how wonderful invention watches are. He thought that he was doing me a favor, but I was fuming. There are series of amusing anecdotes in these letters. Now, a few days later, after arriving home, Tagore was admitted to Brighton Preparatory School for Boys in this very place at 7th Street. It was a public school. He stayed in home for nearly 3 months. Then he moved to London and was admitted to the University College London in the Faculty of Arts and Law. However, his total stay of 483 days in his first visit in England was wasted as he failed to obtain any academic or professional qualification. On the other hand, it was fruitful in a way that he developed a further interest in English literature and also acquired a taste in Western music. The latter was one productive aspect of his first visit to England, which was reflected in his early writings and operatic compositions. We express our sincere thanks to Brighton and Hove City Council for allowing us to install the plaque of the great artist in the place where he was a student for a while and had his first English experience in England. Also, we congratulate Dr. Zan Openshaw, who worked hard in collaboration with the council to organize this event today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kundu. It's now my pleasure to welcome Professor Shahaduzzaman, who will speak to us about Rabindranath Tagore. Professor Zaman is in the Department of Medical Anthropology and Global Health, the University of Sussex. He's also a distinguished writer of Bengali fiction.
Thank you very much, Jean, for inviting me, and it's indeed a great honor to be speaking at this very special occasion in front of this very distinguished guest, including some guest in the sky, I can see. And it's indeed almost impossible to say anything meaningful in this short period on Rabindranath. Probably what I will try to just highlight a particular point is that although Rabindranath is the best celebrated poet for all Bengalis, and he has penned the national anthem both for India and Bangladesh, we, the Bangladeshis, I'm from Bangladesh originally, we experience, interpret and celebrate Rabindranath Tagore a bit differently than India and Indian Bengalis. because we had to retain or regain our Bengali identity through a war and sacrifice of millions of people. And Rabindranath was particularly a constant inspiration before, during, and after the war. And you know that Bangladesh particularly moved away from the religious-based identity that was created in 1947 and with the partition of India-Pakistan, and to a linguistic identity thereafter. And language, Bengali language, was an integral part of the struggle for independence for Bangladesh, which was eventually materialized in 1971. And Rabindranath, particularly the songs and the poems of Rabindranath, became an icon of this struggle, particularly against the then Pakistani regime. And the Pakistani regime at that time tried to stop everything the Bengalis in East Pakistan tried to do to celebrate Rabindranath, to celebrate the birth and death anniversary, but the Bengalis fought back. So Tagore, I mean, it's a bit strange for me to call him Tagore. It's Rabindranath for us, Rabindranath Tagore, is some way, he was a partner, he was kind of an ally of our struggle for independence, struggle for liberation. So when I listen to this song, our national anthem, "Oh my golden Bengal, how I love you, Amar Sonar Bangla, Ami Tomaye Bhalobashi," this is sang and listened in a different way to an Indian listener, audience. When I listen to it, when I sing it, I am reminded of those bloodshed and the sacrifice of several martyrs. So, as a Bangladeshi, it's really a very special feeling to be standing here in this place where Rabindranath once stood. And I'm sure in years to come, many Bangladeshis will visit this place just to have that feeling. And it's my pleasure and honor to have this opportunity to express that particular feeling on behalf of the Bangladeshis. And I would again like to thank the organizers, particularly Jane, who has taken this initiative, and all the and particularly Brighton and Hove Council to organize this. And thank you for attending. Thanks.